Good afternoon, it's Tony again from Paranormal Investigation UK. We're looking at the second piece of CCTV footage from the Chester investigation. This is the time when we're experimenting in the empty room and just place a simple zoom recorder in the middle of the room. This really duplicated the investigation we were there when we were actually at the property August of last year, and for some reason after a 5-day period of nothing it burst into action. A couple of minutes before this video we got multiple reps, which we're going to explain, in total of 9 of them. This is now 3 minutes after at 1726, same building, same situation, so we'll see where this one goes. The last one we got 3 loud raps, 5 low volume raps, certainly within the same frequency spectrum, together with 2 EVPs. The EVP was unusual in the fact that it seemed to be the same male voice saying the same word with 30 seconds period of time between the two of them. On analysis it's certainly within the voice spectrum, but I need to be careful with this one because it would be unusual to have a EVP of exactly the same voice, sounding voice, saying the same word. So could it be something else that's caused this? For example, a bird, that type of thing. Difficult to be sure with. The first EVP was certainly a lot louder than the second one. So the rest of these I've not reviewed them, with the exception of knowing that there are raps within this. So we'll do a similar review analysis as we did on the one for a few minutes earlier. So this one is 281/1. These noises leading up to that. That one there, that spike of this software splits the video up from the audio, so that we're not dealing with just one file, it's 2 files. It's about 3 seconds where whatever it's either a visual or an audible event occurs, where the camera triggers. It captures 3 seconds before and 57 seconds after. That is the one there that's triggered it, and then what it does, it keeps 3 seconds beforehand. And what we've got there is sound before, accidental capture in a way. That's a voice. That's a voice. It's almost like a sentence. I did have an idea that one of my colleagues, Amanda Griffiths, reviewed some of these when they first came in, and she said there was multiple rapping, multiple voices occurring. We've got a cast iron confirmation from the owner, because he's actually in the main office. The main opposite side of the building, there's a hallway, stairway which leads down to the ground floor, because this is on the first floor, 35 foot in the air. And there's this empty room. He was in there working, and he was the only person in the building. He's confirmed that, and we have no reason to disbelieve that. There's the frequency. This may get, if you're using headphones, just be careful now, because I've got the volume up quite high. You're going to hear this rap sound. Yeah, it stops when the rap occurs. That's the sound there. This frequency here is just bass frequency caused by microphone feedback, because I've amplified it to death, really. Let's see if I'll take some of this out, so it'll just clean it up, because with that bass frequency other stuff comes in. Anything under 150 Hz we're not that interested in anyway. Don't know what you think, but that sounds like a voice. Not enough frequency to get an absolute there it is there. Around 1000 Hz. Is that tapping or is it a voice? It can be either. Then we get the rap that follows. I think what I'll do with this is well, let's look at the rest of it, particularly this rap. I'll come back to it when it's finished, and I'll just save this audible file and just see if we can enhance it some way. I'll then send it to my colleagues to see if they can interpret what that is. The frequency there, you know, if you look at some in fact I've got a graph here somewhere, you can see it. Yeah. What we've got is the frequencies of male, female and children. The key bit with this, as we can see, is around, you've got a fundamental frequency of around about between 900 and 1000 Hz, and then you've got this petering away of the frequencies. Bit of reflection there, but it's 900 to 1000 Hz. For a male, as you see here, the fundamental frequency here is within the pattern for both male, certainly male, possibly children as well. And what's quite unusual, you can see the actual tailing of the frequencies. That's a shouted word, and so on and so forth. but the frequency itself very rarely changes. All the lines just indicating really is, you know, quite your normal raised voice, loud voice, shouted voice. The fundamental features remain the same. It's just the volume of them that differ, and certainly that is within that spectrum, so it possibly could be a voice, but it also within the same rap frequencies which we're used to dealing with. This, as you see there, so when we look at the previous raps that we did from the movie 2801, it's there again. You see the frequency is very, very similar when you compare like for like. Is it a voice, or is it or are there three raps there? Very difficult to know for certain. So what we'll do, the way we'll work with it, is we'll look at the rest of it first, then come back to it. I'll save that as a separate file, and we'll work on that one separately. It's going to be quite a long video, which is what I expected really. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn and leave the volume up, which is about, yeah, it's quite a lot higher there. That's enough. Take it off loop, we'll listen through it, and what we'll actually do is we'll briefly review it. We're not going to stop it, and let's just make sure there's nothing actual visual. Then if there's nothing visual, we can then concentrate purely on the audible side. That's that big wrap thing there. Turn it back to average, real time. Why is this building making so many noises? There's talking going on. You see it there? Jesus, what on earth? This is going to take some time to go through this. I wasn't expecting that. Because one of the things I did this day, on the 23rd, the business owner contacted me to say that he was getting multiple alarms, and when he was reviewing them in his office, he heard these bang, 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 what's going on. So what I actually did, I asked him to go into the room and to check to ensure nothing was in there, such as bird, squirrel, infestation of any description, and he went through it very, very carefully, contacted him back, so there's absolutely nothing in there at all. What he also indicated is he could hear them when he was actually there with his own ears, and it freaked him out a little bit. So he actually came out, got his hair standing up on his arms. So I've not actually come across something like this before in this building. In fact, and we're going to be scratching I can't think of an occasion when I've heard something like this, because in principle it's 5:30 in the afternoon, it's not even 5:30. There's absolutely no reason for this room to be as active what it is at this moment. There are multiple raps and possibly voices in here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to concentrate on the raps. I think there's that rap there. About 10 to 0. There's nothing that we could see on here. Went through that, there's nothing on there, so we can get rid of that now. Concentrating purely on the audible, nothing to be seen. There we go. That's really, really loud there, and the volume's off. It's around this space, this area. If anything with this particular one, it sounds like more voices than what there is. Anything else? It's a sort of a dream job in one respects, but the sheer amount of work that it consumes this building is incredible. It's certainly rap territory again. Okay, I don't know. Excuse me. Turn the volume up a little bit. It's the same sort of territory again. We've got the voice again. What I'm going to do is, when I've dealt with all the raps, I'll just go back to the voices, and I'll just strip them out, sample them out, and pass them on to my colleagues to review. There we go. .500, yeah, it's the same type of frequency, time and time again. 2, 3. Is that the same? Let me just grab the spectrum of this. Yeah, about 2, isn't it? That's it, 10 seconds. Is that the same as there? It's like 3 there, isn't there? Incredible. Jesus, it's like a conversation taking place. Frequency's backing out. Call it voices. I just don't know what's going on here. This is the most dramatic events, and it's not just this one-off. There was one before, and it just seemed to ramp up from 3 days of no activity at all. We put the camera in and it absolutely hit the fan for a very short period of time. What is it that we're experiencing here? Really, really strange. Okay. Let's go from there. It's the same again. Voices. We may be misinterpreting the voices. It could be something else that's causing it. There's nothing in the room. It's completely, as you can see, it's completely bare. There's nothing in there. There's a kitchen behind me. There is a fridge, but that's been switched off. There's nothing there. It should be absolutely quiet. Bizarre. Another nearly missed that. I can see it there. You see a little black line there. Shouldn't need any volume on that one. Clear that. There we go. Same frequency. whatever it is, it's the same sound, or the same object that's making the sound, the impact sound. A bit lower in volume, but that's wrap 3. I scratched my head in disbelief with it. That says louder. That actually says louder than there's a bank. I'm just going to pause this one. The reason why I'm going to pause it, I'm going to speak to the building's owner. I've got a concern over what's being said here. Louder, bang. That's louder, bang. Yeah, I'm going to speak to the business owner. I will report back very shortly. Okay, it's Tony again to resume in the review on this particular footage. The reason why I stopped at this point was due really to this particular section. I'll just go replay that again. When that's actually amplified, what I can actually hear is something similar to looking, sorry, not looking, louder. Louder, and then the rap occurs. Now, the problem with EVPs is that you can ask different people what they can hear. As long as you don't give them any power suggestion, they will often come up with a completely different word, maybe even a different explanation for what the sound could be. I spoke to my colleague Amanda Griffiths, and she says it's she's not too certain, but she listened through a mobile phone. I spoke to the owner of the building, and he said he could hear the words Robert and then the rap. The reason why I stopped for two reasons really. If you think about it logically, if I am right and this word being spoken is louder, bang, then that suggests a minimum of two, we'll call them entities involved with a high degree of intelligence. It's showing you intelligence anyway, but it takes it onto a different level if one entity is saying louder and the second entity is then was the one who's responsible for the sound. Because one of the things that I find quite baffling with these types of cases is what's the significance of these raps? What do they mean? Are they the basis of the sounds which would later become a voice? Historical cases include certainly Enfield, the Battersea poltergeist, together with Pontefract, even the one in the Alaman. They all start with raps and then later on become words, and the rats sort of don't get heard as often as it begins. They need to able to learn to formulate the words. We simply don't know. We're in the realms of the guesswork with that. The other side of this one is if again I'm correct with the word louder, that could also suggest fraud, and that was one of the reasons why I needed to go back and speak to the owner, because I certainly spoke to him on to the 23rd, which is when this room burst into action. He's in his own office. He had all this racket going on, mainly because his mobile phone was beeping up to say events were occurring in the empty room. So when he spoke to me, I sent him in. That room is actually locked. You need a key pass to get in there. He went in, and what I wanted to do is to check for any form of infestation, squirrels, birds, whatever. He went through it with a tooth comb, spent some time there. Then he came back and said, "Oh no, there's nothing, no animal, whatever that's involved there." So we also have a camera that covers the top of the stairway, which covers the only entrance door into this room, into the empty room. So bring that one up. The entrance door is about here. So if anyone was close to that door, that CCTV camera would pick them up. That's the reason why it was installed, because I'm concerned over fraud for this particular building. The other side of this is, when I spoke to my colleague a month ago, she said, well, we can probably therefore exclude the possibility of anyone being on the outer door of the entrance door here, because the camera picked up, plus the owner was there. He would have known, because his camera systems would have shown him that. So he's supremely confident he's the only one within the building. There is a door that leads to the stairway, emergency exit door. There's a set of steps that lead down. Could somebody possibly be there making sounds? They can't do it here because it's 35 foot up in the air. It's on the first floor, so it can only come from that area. What I forgot about is that there is a second camera, which is there. So on the footage that we got from this particular day, they were split into two parts. Camera 1, which is one that was on top of the kitchen surface, pointing outwards, and camera 2, as I call it, is there facing the other way. The reason why it's positioned there, it also picks up the entrance door, which has two glass panes, so as you walk onto the top of the stairs, the lights come on, then panes will show that, and that camera then picks it up as an alert. So we're confident that no way anyone was around there. That camera would have picked it up. The other thing with it as well is, of course, that sound was only picked up by this camera. If the sound was coming from that area, that camera would have picked it up. So this time is 1726. Okay, this is the second one. The other one was at 1722, 4 minutes before. Back stay on the 23rd of January. These are camera 2. This camera here. In fact, what I'll do, I'll play all these. So this is camera 2. The door, the exit door is there. You can't see camera 1, that's facing there. The last thing you want to do with infrared CCTV cameras is point them to one another. They just white out. So you can just about see the exit door there. Now that time is 16:30. Okay, let me just turn the volume down. Next one is 16:24. That's 17:26. Still doesn't correspond with the time of the other one, 1725, 1731, 1732, 1734, and so on. So this camera was, I think this is another sound. Oops, better if I turn the volume up. There you go, there's the wrap. This camera picks it up. Camera 2, camera 1 does not. Okay, that's the camera there. Does not pick it up. So I'm confident that no one was anywhere near that emergency staircase, because if this camera picked it up at 1726, so would that one, because that's closer. It does not. Only this camera picks it up, and I can completely rule out anyone being on the entrance door, because that camera has not picked them up. Plus the owner was there anyway. And we can rule out anyone being at these windows, because it's 35 foot up in the air, and we would have known about it, because we've got cameras outside looking at the building. So as far as these are concerned, if we're dealing with wraps, then that's one thing. You know, we could find rational reasons for that. But when we're talking about voices that are being recorded, it takes it in a completely different territory, because we can completely rule out 100% that no human interaction was involved in this empty office on that particular date at that particular time. And that takes it in right into the paranormal category. And although I've been apprehensive about using that word, these are the most dramatic capture evidence. As we've evolved this case, we've been involved since May. We've now got multiple cameras, multiple sources. We're fortunate to have the owner, and there's absolutely no way is the owner involved with any type of fraud, because he is better than I am at debunking. He does it quite often. He just wants to find a reason, and if, you know, that's the reason why he's brought us in there, to give him answers. No point in bringing in his finances, he already knows it. So we can completely rule out, and I trust the guy implicitly. I don't find an issue with that at all. But with all the historical cases, we know full well that the allegations of fraud always bleed in. And one of the things I've been trying to do with this case throughout is to put as much safeguards in place to detect fraud and to stop it from the first place. And up to now, we've not had a single incident which we could suggest that this particular event was fraud. You introduce one piece of fraud into it, it completely destroys the basis of your case anyway. It discredits it completely. So we can rule. That's the reason why I stopped the video at that point. Want to check with the owner, just double check, go back over what we discussed a week ago, speak to my colleagues, and that's when we realised that actually this camera itself has been a godsend, because that would have picked anything up there, and this camera is learning. So it looks, because of these two cameras are acting differently, and they are independent, that they're completely two different devices. The sound on one hand is closer to this one, the reason why it triggers, and that there. And as we found with this particular one right at the beginning, that's the one that triggered the camera at 3 seconds. 3 seconds before, you can hear voices, something going on. So something was already occurring, but at such low volume, the camera didn't trigger. It only triggered when the rap occurred, which then caught the 3 seconds before. Completely accidental. It then captures the rest of it, 57 seconds, and we've got this other stuff going in there as well. So quite a lot to get through, and I've got an appointment at 7 o'clock. It's coming up to 6 o'clock, so I want to try and get through this one and finish this one off and review the other ones tomorrow. But this case in Chester is now going to go in a completely different phase now. There's stuff we experimented in the building last night, which I'll talk about at some other point when we look at that particular audio and footage that we did yesterday, because we're trying to work within the UK lockdown constraints, so we can still investigate from a distance and do stuff, as well as reviewing what we've already got here. So it's all looking good. So any comments, please just leave them below. Always grateful to get those. Any pointers, any advice, suggestions, that type of thing, opinions. More than happy to listen to what you've got to say, and I'll always answer them. So, and you can contact us via the website or from Facebook. Links are on the YouTube. Right. So we've already reviewed this, so we can get rid of the footage. I just really wanted to explain the dynamics of this particular building and the reason why we can be fairly confident excuse me, that whatever we're dealing with here does not have a human element whatsoever. It's got to be something else. Can we find rational reasons? Time will only tell, but at the moment this is now moved into a completely different territory now, where I'm getting quite close to confirming this is a genuine poltergeist phenomena. So, and we've been on this case from last May, so let's see how we go. I'm not sure if I actually took that rat frequency. Let me just listen all the way back to the beginning. That's with rat 1. 2. 3. 4. No, I didn't. Okay. Get rid of that. Just clear that one. We're at 30 seconds, and we've got 4 very distinct raps. That's quite a loud one, and reacting a little bit differently to what I would normally expect. There's quite a spread of frequency there. Part of the voice in there. There's a trouble with that. I think because I've got part of the voice, it's difficult to get rid of all that frequency, so I'll get in a bit of a red herring there. Pull that back off that. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take a screenshot of this. We'll call this rat 4. what I will do with this one, when I come to paste it onto the document, I'll actually put a note across here that also contains some of the voice frequency, so it has contaminated. You've got the decaying sound of the voice, because it's quite close to the voice when the rap comes in, and you've just got this spread of frequency that hasn't completely decayed before it's filtered into the rap sound. So I've got that anyway. So right, let's move on, turn the volume back up again. That one there. Got two there. There we go. Call that Route 5. You probably think we're going overboard with these screenshots, but it is helpful when it is that you're trying to tell a story. And it just saved me having to go back and rejig and try to remember. There's so much stuff going on there, it's very easy to forget. So I do tend to try and get as much screenshot evidence as I can when I'm dealing with frequencies. So, and then what we've got there is one that follows. Yeah, there we go. Whatever's making these noises, it's using the same type of frequency spectrum. It's this 1000 hertz job. So now I think on RAP 6, I think. Yeah, RAP 6. Turn it back up there. Turn it back up. Go again. So this is where it gets incredibly strong. We're dealing with the same type of frequency as, let me just take it, as the raps. This is where it's giving me problems. There's no clear distinction between a rap and a voice. That's presuming that's a voice. I'll put voice question mark. Doesn't like that. Okay, let's turn that up again then. Take some space out of it. Sounds like firewood. That's the frequency, which is very similar to RAP 6. Just drifting away there. It is. Right, okay. Right. It's a strange sound. This building should be silent. Too. That sounds like firewood. The only thing you can do is just make just put in what you think it is. I'm not saying for a moment that's what it's saying, but I tend to go with the first word that I hear. Other people will differ. You will almost certainly will have your own take on what if you think that's a word and what it is. Strange sound. It's really difficult to keep abreast with what he's taking. There's so much going on here. Yeah, I'm making a separate notepad on wraps at the moment. We're dealing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now wraps. There's 2 banks of 3 wrap soundings. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sounds. Quite incredible, really. You talk about 6 6 EVPs, possible voices. We've got 3 voices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 EVPs. Mostly louder raps, certainly louder than what the first movie was. We've got 6 of them, and we've got 2 banks of 3 raps in 60 seconds of audio. That's 15 separate events just in that. Quite incredible. I've never heard anything like this before. I've been in this game a long time, particularly where we can discount any possibility of fraud. Not 100%, 90.9% certain there's no fraud involved. The owners in the buildings there. We've got multiple cameras. Nothing indicates any human interaction whatsoever. I can't use the heat temperature theory because the temperature's flatlined at this point. It's been like that for a number of hours. So what I'm going to find tomorrow when I look at the next video is, I'm looking forward to it. So only 2 today. Got quite a few more to go through yet. May take a week for us to get through these, but I'm quite sure we will. Any comments, grateful to hear from you. Those that have been following this case from the beginning, we're just about now to go on a different stage of what I know yesterday from experiments we've done in the building last night. We are into completely different territory now. So I hope you found that interesting. Anyway, quite a long one, I'm going to apologise for that. But when you're dealing with a 60-second piece of footage with 15 separate types of phenomena, possible phenomena occurring, it takes your head getting around that. It needs to be catalogued correctly and accurately. So that just takes time. Okay, I shall speak to you tomorrow. That's Tony signing off until tomorrow. See you there.